Another YouTube says Texas Toast guitars are overpriced Les Pauls. So interesting. Obviously I just saw your comment, so I wanted to react to it. When it comes to Gibson and Texas Toast, I don't have any preference to give to either one of them. Like I said, everyone's biased. So what is the bias? I'm a little biased. I have no preference over those two brands other than obviously small builders. I root for the underdog more than the big corporate conglomerate. I've said it before. If you want a Gibson for your resale value, it's one of the smartest guitar purchases you can make. Gibson guitars are desirable. They have been desirable, and they'll probably continue to be desirable if that's what you care about, your resale value. Gosh, in the last 5 years, I probably owned 50 Gibsons because, like I said, anytime I had any stuff to offload, I would trade it for a Gibson because I knew I could get good money for it later. They're just going to go up in price. I even mentioned that 2 of those Gibsons that I bought, or I called rescued them because I got them so cheap, it was ridiculous. My best friend Ralph owns both of those because he didn't know I had them. We were talking in the kitchen one day, and he's like, "I'd really like to have a Gibson V," and I'm like, "I have one in the closet." He's like, "What?" And then one day he's like, "I'd really like a gold top." I said, "I have one in the closet," and he goes, "No, not your, I don't want your gold top." I go, no, my gold top's in the office. I just bought a gold top at a Guitar Center because it was a smoking deal. Because like I said, I know that I'll get my money back or if not more. And again, anytime I can trade. So to compare a small builder, when you say overpriced, if a small builder and a Gibson charge the same price, you could easily argue that the better value to dollar return comes from the Gibson because the small builder is unknown. It has a very small purchasing demographic. It's not going to have a lot of people to buy from it. But the term overpriced, well, first of all, that's an internal thing. So usually overpriced gets thrown around a lot. And I'm not accusing you of this. I'm just being clear because this is a very honest thing to say. Overpriced is sometimes thrown out when you're broke. And I don't want to say broke. I want to say like you can't afford it. Like if I was to say a Lamborghini is overpriced, to be honest with you, that's the dumbest thing I could say because I can't afford a Lamborghini, even if it wasn't overpriced. What if a Lamborghini was really beautifully, perfectly priced right now? It doesn't matter. I'm not paying $225,000 or whatever it is for a car. So sometimes people say overpriced, and I understand that because they don't have the money. Sometimes they say overpriced because, again, it's out of their comfort zone. They're like, I would never spend that. I've said this before. There are a ton of guitars I will never buy because they're out of my comfort zone of what I pay. But I want to say this just because it's a small builder. And so if you would have said Gibson's overpriced, I wouldn't defend Gibson. Like I said, I just want you to know what my bias are. The reason I wouldn't defend Gibson is because they don't need defense. They're a big corporation making hundreds of millions of dollars and they're fine. Small builders, though, I think the thing that you really have to digest when you say the term overpriced, really think about the value to dollar proposition. And what I mean by that is it's hard for me to say a guitar company is overpricing their guitars and the guys are driving, one's driving a pickup truck. I don't know this for sure, but I'm just saying one's driving a pickup truck and the other one's driving a Honda and they live in a, nice home, a decent house, and they support some kids. I don't think they're the guys screwing you, is what I'm trying to say. It's sometimes these terms get thrown around in the weirdest ways. So Texas Toast guitars, I think are super inexpensive for what they are. That's just what I believe. As someone who's been, around all this stuff for so many years and fixed so much of this stuff and been to these shops and been to these factories, they don't come to my mind as overpriced. I don't think they're dirt cheap by any means. I think they're actually close to right priced. And I could be wrong. I thought for sure, somebody correct me, I thought the one behind me, this silver one, I think it's like $1,500. That was my educated guess feeling and playing the guitar, but after the show I looked them up and they are actually $1,399, so pretty close, $1,400. That seems like a pretty reasonable price for a guitar. And if you take a look at Gibson, they offer a guitar that's pretty comparable, same features and a gig bag for about $14.99. Like I said, Gibson will have the better resale value, but it's impressive to see a small builder in Colorado matching up to the second largest guitar builder in the world. I'll tell you what I like about the 2 Texas Toast guitars that were sent to me, by the way. They are the same guitar, but one has more ornate, like the other one has a beautiful wood top and the other one has a fancier neck with the walnut and maple walnut. It has a veneer over the headstock. I absolutely love any business model wrapped around the concept of everyone gets the same quality, but people who spend more get nicer looking things. I love that idea. I personally was a victim of a car manufacturer because of the concept of they didn't have that in their business model. So, the first time I heard a car company like, I'm going to use Honda as an example, where it's like the base model car came with the same safety features as the most expensive car. In my particular instance, what happened with me, I'm not going to go into detail, but just so you know, what happened with me was I was in a very expensive car and an accident happened, which was not my fault. And we were hurt really badly. And we would have been fine if we would have just bought the next model above, because it had the safety feature that would have prevented some serious problems. The reason we didn't buy the model above, not because we didn't have the money, because we didn't want the leather seats and the stupid stereo system. And that car company decided to package that safety feature into these comfort products. And we didn't know that. So I say that not to get preachy, but to point out that I really love people who come to you and say, hey, look, if you get this car, you get all the safety features as the expensive model. And if you just want a nicer stereo and leather seats, you just buy that separate. And I love a company who's like, we make the best quality guitar for the base price. And if you like fancy wood tops, or if you like, fancier, pickup options, or if you like, different like aesthetics in the fretboard, pay for that. I'm a big fan of that attitude. And I'm only telling you my issue with the car industry, so to speak, is that was a horrible event in my life, and it forever changed me, because like I said, it changed me as a consumer to realize what it means when somebody says we don't make a lower version of a thing, we just make a good thing, and then we make aesthetically pleasing more attributes. So when I see the Texas Toast things, I kind of see that in their business model, and I could be wrong, but that's what I see. Plus, there's always a part of me that's always going to want to defend the small guys a little bit. Like I said, that's why I said thank you for the comment. I'm not upset about your comment by any means. These are the discussions I love to have. I think they're the hardest ones to have, because you could be right when you say they're overpriced just as easy as I could be wrong. But I wanted to give you my reasoning and 20 years experience and where I see what I see, if that helps. I hope that makes sense. Mitchell says he has a Texas Toast Challenger and they build a great guitar. Yeah, I mean, look, if what's great about them is, again, I've done thousands of these guitar reviews, and it's hard to get factories to let me see everything. It's hard to get them to share things with you guys. I always tell everybody, if you want to know how good the restaurant is, go in the kitchen. Some manufacturers, especially overseas, they won't even let me come, even though I'll foot the bill. And again, I don't want to have this kind of a discussion really, but you guys know, the diehards that are watching right now, the brands. Even recently, a brand who reached out and they were like, I told them I will only review their guitars if they let me come to the factory on my dime. I will pay for the hotel, the fuel, the expenses. It's about $2,000-$3,000 to go do this. I will do it all, and I will not put out any video that they don't approve. And they still don't want me to come, right? They don't want me to see it or show you. I really don't interested to go if I can't show you, but at least if I could see it, I can feel a certain way when we talk about it on Fridays. Like I can say, like with conviction, going, no, they do what they say they do. They are building them in the U.S., even though doesn't look like they are, and it looks like it's all fake. Here's what I'm trying to say. Guys like Texas Toast, not only they're going to show you their shop, you can see their shop in videos. You can go there and learn how to build guitars. Another YouTube. Again, not calling you out. Like I said, good comment, good conversation. Okay? Like I said, we can still have a beer and be friends. Or a Coke, whichever works. I wonder what the perception of their guitars are from the people who have went to their shop and learned to build a guitar versus the people who didn't. I wonder if that changes. And not to say one would be right. I'm curious about the person who did it and still thinks they're overpriced. I'm curious if there's that person that exists, like that did it and still thinks that. I'm really be interesting. But like I said, you can do that. They'll teach you how to build a guitar at Texas Toast. A little bonus for you guys on the pod clips. Somebody was asking over and over again, what was the music on my music stand that I was learning this week? And it was Love Last Holiday by Monty Montgomery, who is my absolute favorite guitar player of all time. So check him out if you haven't checked him out, and that's what I'm working on. If you enjoyed this podcast clip, you can watch the entire episode by clicking the link in the description or streaming it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. You can also join it live every week, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, know your gear.